Welcome inside episode 41 of On the Board. I'm Colby McKee. Across from me, Cory Bukoskis.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
I'm first.
You are, because there's no Lance Dahl tonight.
Oh, sad.
We don't need him, though.
No. Is this his first episode?
No, of like a DNP, no. I'd say, of the three of us, he's missed the least amount of shows.
Yeah.
So he gets a well-deserved break. He's not feeling under the weather there.
No.
So, got a great show tonight. Lots to talk about. We're going to start, as we always do, locally. Messinat Tigers on a 5-game winning streak, Cory.
Mm-hmm.
That's something.
Yeah.
Especially down the stretch here.
This past weekend was crazy.
Wasn't it?
I bumped it. Yeah, did you watch any of the games?
Unfortunately, did not. Followed a lot of it on social media, but yeah, it's like some fantastic results.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll touch on more in depth as we go on, but big wins against Calgary, Edmonton, and obviously the Tuesday game against Swift Current was nothing to sneeze at either.
Yeah, no, perfect. You couldn't have asked for a better week for them. Yeah, they just kind of dominated Calgary. Calgary was in the middle of a road trip, so they weren't necessarily fresh. And then Edmonton, Josh Williams got the quick goal in the first 40 seconds, and we could have easily folded our tents, but we worked hard, and the second and third period was ours. We dominated them. The best team in the league, basically.
Absolutely. And, I mean, now, as we sit here and talk, 2 points up on Lethbridge with a game in hand still before the end of the regular season, which, I mean, we talked about it in previous podcasts. Our strength of schedule is one of the lowest in the entire WHL, so that's something to look forward to. And if you're a Tigers fan, you've got to be feeling pretty confident that we can potentially, knock on wood, wrap up, home ice for at least the first round. That'd be huge.
So if I've done my math correct, and sometimes I don't do my math correct, I think we've beaten Calgary no matter what.
Yeah.
I think. So there's no way we can get the wild card. So we are either that 2 or 3 spot, which is good. Doesn't mean we're going to at least be traveling locally in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Like, that's confirmed. So, but yeah, Lethbridge had a tough time in their BC Division road trip, 3-game road trip. Lost 2-0 to Prince George, 6-3 to Kamloops, and then 5-4 to Kelowna.
They were down huge against Kelowna and had to
5-1.
Fight back on that one. Cousins was fantastic, as he always is.
Yeah, but I mean, that's 3 huge losses, and now we're ahead. I mean, I think last week when we were talking about it, it was the opposite.
Yeah,
like we're like, oh god, we got to catch Lethbridge, and now we're looking down on them. So
it's impressive. It's very impressive. They took care of who they had to take care of. First started off on Tuesday night against those Swift Current Broncos, 5-2 victory. We talked about it previously with Lance. Looking for that second line to step up and produce. Getting Sillinger back last weekend was huge. Got that consistency and chemistry before the playoffs. Other lines have been carrying the load for the last few weeks and months. Finally, this week, the second line dominated play, whether it was 5-on-5 power play unit. They finally came to work. It all started with Ryan Jazowski. He had himself a heck of a week with the hat trick there on Tuesday. Absolutely dominated. I think he was 16 for 20 from the face-off circle. Completely dominated that aspect of the game. Wow. And he's now hit 30 goals on the season.
Yeah, and 100 career assists this weekend.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah, man, count. Yeah, they're hitting their stride at the perfect time. I think that Saturday game, a lot of credit goes to I guess, I don't know, what do you call your fourth line and your third line anymore? I guess it's the third line with Baxter Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Kostelik's head all night, and Kyle Olson on the hitman, 2 of their best players. They couldn't think straight. They were just worrying about our third line center, Brucey. Every line's contributing in their own way, and like you said, that second line, they're playing like a first line out there, like we know they can.
Yeah.
So
that nice little contribution back and forth between, like you said, the Hamlin line, which has carried much of the play for the first, 3 quarters of the season, and getting that second line's only going to help their offensive production, being able to get matchups in the playoffs when you're in a Lethbridge and you don't have the last change. That's going to be huge. And just getting back, I guess, to their style of play, I think in every game they've outshot their opponents this past week, including 25-5 in the second period against Swift Current there on Tuesday. Like, just against a lesser opponent, albeit, but just goes back to that style of play which we talked about with Joe Frazier and Matt Wong in previous interviews that we've done. Just that style of play and that mentality. Get pucks on net, and you never know what can happen.
Yeah, we got 23 shots in the second period against Edmonton. So
there you go, another 20-plus period.
Yeah, in the first period, like I said, 40 seconds in, we're down 1-0, and we're able to contain it at that, and down 1-0 going into the locker room, and then come out in that second period like a team on a mission. 23 shots, and I think they only got 10. Like we dominate when we need to. Sometimes our starts aren't the greatest.
Yeah.
There's nothing to complain about. Sometimes the other team just gets the first goal, but when we're down, we put the pedal to the metal.
One guy, yeah, no, absolutely. One guy that we've been talking about in past weeks and was looking for a little bit more consistency from him was Matt Sogard. It's safe to say that he's back in his groove.
Yeah.
2 fantastic victories over the weekend against a tough Calgary team that we've been fighting in the playoff spot, and then arguably, like you mentioned, the best team in the entire league in Edmonton. He was superb, and he made some fantastic saves from everything that I've seen, and this is exactly what you want your number one to be playing as, with a little bit of confidence heading into round 1 and beyond here for this team.
Yeah, I mean, the whole season you're managing, workloads. You're making sure Bjorklund's getting his starts because he's a 17-year-old, and you're making sure Mads isn't getting tired. So it's a lot of split weekends. But now that we're less than a month away, it didn't really dawn on me until he started both games against Regina. And I was like, why is he doing that? Oh, we have a bunch of back-to-backs in playoffs, right? I forgot about that.
This is time.
So, yeah, you had to know that he was getting both games this weekend. Yeah, he came up huge, and hats off to our defense. I don't think there was many 10-bell saves that he had to make all weekend, but he was there when we needed him. And like I keep going back to, it can be crushing to get scored on. You're pumped. You're ready to play Edmonton, a team that's kind of had your number, and then you're down 40 seconds in. Like for the team, and especially Mads, to kind of rebound and come back hard and play the rest of the 59 minutes the way they did was just incredible and perfect timing. We're just a couple weeks away from playoffs.
100%. Back to Friday's game quickly. 6-1 victory against those Hitmen. Let's talk about that line brawl at the end of the third. So I didn't see it, as you know, but looking through the stats and stuff, it looked like it wasn't the last melee. It was a kind of a starting point, which was a little bit earlier in the third period. Am I wrong in saying that there was kind of a fighting major or like a hit from behind or something that I saw in the box score that kind of led to all the ruckus with Baxter and Kyle Olsen of the Hitmen and stuff like that?
Yeah, there was some chippy play all throughout. It was a playoff game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just kind of the cherry on top. They were frustrated. They knew that they had to win that game if they wanted to get second or third in our division. So I think, just frustration. Seeing that, because it's not easy being a wild card team. So I think that all kind of went into their mind. And
6-1 score. It's easy to take some notes and be on with your day.
Yeah, and they're usually such a stronger team. Kastelik, Vandalist, they have some big guys, Dakota Krebs, than they have for the past couple of years. So they've been able to bully us. Especially last year, but this year, Gavlis wasn't playing Friday night, but Cole Clayton's bigger now. We got Dylan Plouffe.
Yeah.
Even on offense, Kyle McNabb, Lochner's bigger. Baxter's gotten bigger over
the
years.
He's been a force the last couple weeks since, I guess, Lance shouted him out on the show, but he's been a wrecking ball. He's scoring, he's playing physical. That's a young kid that is nice to have in your lineup. Wherever he can slot in anywhere in your lineup.
Yeah, he was up on the first line a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was just, Calgary just got frustrated with us. We played the perfect game against them, the game that we needed to play. And, nothing really more to say. They just got frustrated with us.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
In the Edmonton game, 4-1 victory there last night. People were commenting on social media, the most complete game of the year the Tigers have played. Would you reckon that sentiment?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems
outside of that, the first few minutes were a little bit rocky there with the Williams goal, but the perseverance to come back, like you said, they could have folded up shop and called it another loss, but they come back, and from everything outside the arena, it looked like it was a complete team effort.
Yeah, and the fans really came to play too. They were really fun to play with. They were starting Go Tigers goes. We didn't even have to cue them really. They were doing that. We are, do you know that we were undefeated when wearing third jerseys in our franchise?
Are we really?
Yeah, so back to like 08, 09 days or whatever when they'd wear the script.
Yeah.
Even on those games, they were undefeated.
No
so
way.
In the rink.
Okay.
And all those, yeah. Apparently we're undefeated.
That's a great stat right there.
But anyway, like getting to your question, yeah, they played well. Edmonton it was tough for them to get much offense created. And I think, Sebastian Cossa, Edmonton's goalie, had to play really well. We could have probably put in a couple more against them, but 4-1 games. We're not blowing them out, and we're not making it close either. That's a perfect game for us.
No, you don't want to blow them out because that only gives a little fuel for the fire if we happen to meet them in a second or a third rounder, and it's just, it's a wait and see approach. You don't want to tip your hand with all. You see them so many times in the regular season. You're gonna show your tendencies and how you stop certain guys, but try to keep a little bit of tricks there in your chest there. 30 goals now for both Kemp, Chizowski, and Hamlin.
Oh.
I was gonna quickly look and see the last time a Tigers team has had 3 30-goal scorers. In top of my head, it's been probably, I don't know, like I'm thinking back to maybe the Curtis Volk days, maybe a Hunter Shinkarik, Emerson Edom.
Oh, check.
As Cory pulls that up, but it's just nice to see the consistency, the depth of scoring for this Tigers roster. And guys like Kemp, I joked that he was more of an assist guy to start the season. He wasn't really shooting the puck, and now he's lighting it up. And Chizowski's been fantastic playing that two-way forward role. And we talked about Hamlin all year, and the fact that he can just put up points at any given moment, having an MVP quality season. That is nice to see there for our captain.
Yeah.
Did you find any stats quickly?
Yes. So it's not far back. The 16-17 team had a few.
Okay, so a few years ago.
I'm trying to look back before that.
Okay, who was on that 16-17 team? I'm trying to think. Was it the Curtis Volk?
No.
No. No, it wasn't Mark Rassel.
So the 30 goal scorers were Matt Bradley, Zach Fisher, Max Gerlach, Mark Rassel, John Dahlstrom.
Whoa, they had 5 30-goal guys?
And the top 3 point getters didn't get 30 points. Stephen Auer, Mason Shaw, and Chad Butcher, they didn't get 30 goals.
So they were all
yeah.
My goodness.
That's
nuts.
No, that team is nuts. Their goals per game were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like way higher than what we have this year.
Man.
I feel like we've been scoring a lot this year.
Yeah, I feel like we have.
Holy.
That's crazy. Okay.
But I think before that, probably around the Bay days. But
yeah, that's impressive. That's a good pull by you. Thank you for doing that. Wow, it's crazy. Last night the Tigers wore their special jerseys, like you mentioned, for the WHL Suits Up to promote Oregon donation. No longer part of the Don Cherry.
Don Cherry.
We'll get to Bob in a second, but the Don Cherry, there's no association there. What's your thoughts on the jerseys? I like that.
I like them.
That color orange is really sharp.
Yeah, I think Beth Lanik in the office was the only one that didn't like them.
Okay,
she did not
no.
like them. And the players really liked them. They like anything new.
Yeah.
I think that's just
that blue cresting, it really popped as well too.
Yeah, that was a little bit. I didn't have a problem with it.
No,
it was the colors clashed, but it's something new. I think the last time I checked the bids, they're doing all right. So.
I was gonna say, so they're up for donation. We'll post the website in our episode description, or maybe if you can pull it up quickly. On your end, I think it goes till the end of the week. Am I mistaken?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
7:30. So March. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. March.
Today
11th.
is the 8th. Yeah, so the 11th. You can get your bid in on your favorite Tigers player's jersey. I'm sure. Top of my head, I'm thinking Hamlin's going to go pretty high. I think Sogard's going to go pretty high. Couple just the
Sillinger.
Oh yeah, Sillinger went good last year too, and he was like a 15-year-old. But that was impressive.
He's my guess to
have the highest bid.
Yes,
very cool.
I think so. Very
cool thing going for organ donation, and a great cause there. Our upcoming schedule, pretty nice week ahead, if you ask me. Tuesday, home against the Red Deer Rebels. Friday and Saturday in home series against the Swift Current Broncos. Friday in Swift Current. And Saturday home against those Broncos. So another week against lesser opponents. Not saying they're easy games. A lot of those teams, especially Red Deer, could be playing playoff spoiler and trying to upset some of these upper ranked teams. However, it's another weekend, another week ahead where got to get some points, got to stay ahead of the Hurricanes, because I believe this is the week where we have that extra game. We actually play 3 this week, and they're only playing Friday night.
Yeah, I think they play Sunday too. But
I didn't see the Sunday. Okay, so so either way though, 3 versus 2, this is where our extra game might come in handy, and we got to make some hay there.
Yeah, we got a 5-game win streak right now. It's tough to get to 9. It's tough to tack on 4 extra, no matter who you're playing, to stay consistent. And Rangers beat us twice this year. So
yeah, they have.
They're not gonna be easy. We gotta go into their barn. Swift is. Let's just face it. They're not. They haven't quite been great this year.
Are they approaching 20 straight losses in a row? Is that the team that, because we faced them this past Tuesday, right? And they were on I think it was like a 15-game losing streak, 16-game losing streak.
They are currently at 17. 16 losses and an overtime loss.
Okay.
So
got to get that game to overtime, but like I said, they're still WHL teams, and you gotta treat them fairly. So
and I guess the bright note is also that Lethbridge has Edmonton twice this weekend, which will be tough for them.
Very tough
to get to, let alone 1. Yeah,
this is the strength of schedule, right? We've been blessed. We played a lot of tough games in the middle of the season, and now Lethbridge is. They go on a BC road trip this late in the year. That's not easy. No. Absolutely not. Very special event coming up here on Saturday as well against the Swift Current Broncos. It's Bob Ridley Night. He's broadcasting his 4,000th career game. An absolute legend in the entire sports broadcasting business. I think he should be a nominee for the Hockey Hall of Fame one day. That's just me personally.
Yep.
That would be a great little egg note on his fantastic career. I'm guessing there's a pregame ceremony. So puck drop will be at 7:30. Imagine being in your seats by 7. You're going to be able to catch all of that action.
Yeah, I think we've applied for an extension, so the puck drop won't really be at 7:30. But it's probably a good idea to be in your seats by the end of warm-ups, which will be 7:05, 7:10 range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you got anything? You want to tip your hat at anything special coming down the pipe?
Yeah, I could. I don't know everything, right? This is the week that we're starting to edit some videos and really plan it. We've tried to give ourselves as many options as we can to see what we really want to do that night. But yeah, there's going to be some video presentations. There's going to be, different people are coming down to present Bob with some different gifts and stuff like that. That's really as much as I want to say. I don't know.
That's
I don't
No.
really know much, but
you're the insider, so we want to know anything and everything. That's pretty cool, though.
You know Bob, right?
Yeah.
He's very, very humble guy. He doesn't like the spotlight on him, and I'm even just kind of talking to him with it, he almost gets frustrated and a little bit upset. He just doesn't like the spotlight on him, but he deserves it, and I can't think of another guy that deserves it more. Just not let alone the 4,000 games, let alone all the driving in the bus. Just all the lives that he's touched, and the guys that go on for NHL careers and they look back and they just, Bob plays such a big part in them.
It's
awesome.
impressive. It's
awesome.
So impressive. He's like you said, he's started so many careers, whether he knows it or not. And guys that, come up to him later on in life, say, hey, you inspired me. Me personally, he's one of the first guys as a youngster listening to calling Tigers games that made me want to get into this industry, whether it's radio, sports, whatever the case may be. And it's just fantastic to being able to work alongside him doing these Tigers games, pressing buttons for him. It is fantastic. It's one of the biggest highlights of my career so far. And just for him to even know me by name is super cool, because he knows so many people. He's been around for so long. And there's so many memorable calls. We've talked about it before. And it's just, it's an absolute treasure just to know the guy. And like you said, he is so humble. And he gets frustrated the fact that he doesn't want you to acknowledge all these accomplishments, but he absolutely deserves, like you mentioned, and it's going to be a very special night, and it's one to wrap up the regular season. It's been one that we've kind of been circling for over a year now. We talked about when will be the end for Bob, and no word yet as of if he's going to continue on, but it's a tip of the hat to get to 4,000 games here at the end of the regular season. And who knows where the Tigers are going to go in the playoffs and going into next year, but it's a fantastic run for Mr. Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, 50 years, 4,000. I don't think he's getting to 5,000. That's at least another 15 years. That's a lot. But yeah, I don't know. If not this year, then when, right?
Yep.
So we'll see what he's thinking. I think he thinks he's going to go another year, which is great. At least
if he's feeling feeling up for it, and the body's treating him well, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, and there doesn't
keep your health, right?
Yeah, there doesn't have to be a specific moment like hitting 4,000 or the 50th year. Just when you wake up one day and you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, that's it.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Get your tickets for that one. Ticketmaster.ca. Head to the Canalta Center box office. It's going to be a game you don't want to miss against the Swift Current Broncos. And should be a good night of Tigers action. So
yep.
We're going to transition from that down to the big leagues, the NHL, as Lance pours a drink out for himself. Another bad Colby transition there.
Yep.
Another really sad news there in the world of NHL. Henry Richard, dead at the age of 84. Longtime Montreal Canadiens standout. He living behind his cousin there, Maurice Richard. He carved out a pretty nice niche for himself, 11 Stanley Cups in his 20 years of playing. That's a fantastic career. Didn't obviously get to see any of his playing days, but by all accounts, a fantastic hockey man. And the world lost another good one. There's been a lot of hockey deaths, unfortunately, in the news last year. So it's not great to see, but gone too soon at 84.
Yeah, I think he was the brother of Maurice.
Brother? I saw a cousin.
Okay. Wikipedia has brother.
Oh, you have brother. Okay.
I don't know. He's the brother cousin.
Okay. Well.
But yeah, spent his whole career with one team. That's impressive.
It is, yeah.
A lot of Stanley Cup rings. He's got enough for both hands and one more.
Maybe a little pinky.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's not much to say. It's not like a tragic death where, it's like what could have been. He just hit his age limit, right? But what a historic career he had, and from all accounts, seems like just the greatest guy.
Yeah.
Was I think just a great Montreal Canadian.
Yeah, 11 Stanley Cups is something that I don't think anybody is going to accomplish in this day and age. Like, that's a record that's pretty up there. Yeah. And, very good consistency on some great Canadiens teams, and he was a valuable member of those. So, condolences to the Richard family. Not easy to deal with. Mika Zibanejad, on the other hand, has been lighting it up. He's been fantastic this week. Scored 5 goals the other night, including the overtime winner. Had another goal last night. And he's up to 39 goals on the year. Zibanejad. So I just looked. I'm like, when did this guy get drafted? Because I'm just curious. 6 overall in 2011 to the Senators.
Yeah.
And many labeled him as not a bust, but he was very slow developing. It took a long time for him to find his niche. He never did find it in Ottawa. It took him to move to New York to finally get some, I guess, more playing time, because he was playing behind. I guess at the time, I believe Spezza was there in 11, and guys like along that center position.
Probably.
So, but it's crazy to see a guy develop into this 40-goal, potentially 100, and he's not going to get 100 points. He's got 72 points in 55 games, but definitely not a guy prior to the season that I was expecting this big of a breakout from. He's been fantastic for the Rangers, and part of the reason why they're still in the thick of things, playoff-wise, and part of the reason why they could re-sign a guy like Chris Kreider to pair alongside him and you build that first lineup. It's been fantastic for the Rangers.
Yeah, I don't think... let me see here. Yeah, I don't even think he's been playing with Panarin much.
No, hey?
So
is he driving the number 2 line?
Depth chart right now. No, he's on the first line. It says Philip DiGiuseppe. Maybe that's an injury to replace Kreider or something.
Yeah, maybe.
And Pavel Buchnevich. I know he played a little bit with Panarin, but I don't think all year. I think
maybe he's getting power playing time, maybe?
Yeah.
Could be.
But, yeah, they've got something cooking in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for them in a couple years. The rookies that they've got, I think if they miss out on the playoffs this year, they're just going to get another lottery pick to add to that group. They got
the first rounder from Carolina. That was because Brady Shea went to Carolina. No,
I think so. Yeah.
That was the D man. So you got a first there, and it's
They
hard to argue.
Good. They look good, and Ryan Strome. Holy.
Yeah.
I have him on my fantasy team. I don't even know what his points look like here. I'm going to check. But
Okay.
He's been nuts for somebody that got put on waivers by the...
Much like his
Oilers.
brother last year, when his brother went from Arizona to Chicago, he
Yep.
was on dynamite. Like, he was
Yep.
really good. And this year, a little bit of inconsistency and injuries have caught up with Dylan Strome.
Yeah.
But Ryan, I mean, yeah, he's a guy who's bounced around a lot too.
Yeah. And yeah, Dylan's young still. I mean, he's still got a lot of potential.
Strome's probably high 20s at this stage of his career. I think he's like 28, 29.
I'll just
As you Google that.
on his thing. Yeah, 26.
Oh,
26.
gosh.
So he's still got a little bit, but still definitely labeled as a bust as a fifth overall pick.
Yeah.
To the Islanders. But maybe just a late bloomer.
Another one.
Picking it up when it matters most, because I mean, like, just another player that the Oilers gave up for nothing.
Yep. Was that the Griffin Reinhart trade? Was he part of that? No. Strome went.
Oh, the Eberle trade.
Eberle.
He went to Edmonton from the New York
Okay.
Islanders.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Eberle.
That sounds right.
And then
Didn't Griffin Reinhart go to the Islanders as well?
Griffin.
Or was
he was drafted by the Islanders.
Oh,
I think.
gosh. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I don't even know why I brought it up. Griffin Reinhart.
Yeah.
I guess he was a former Oil King, was he not?
Yes, he was.
That's maybe where I'm thinking of the Edmonton connection.
Yeah.
Did he ever play for Edmonton? Like,
maybe.
Like the big
I don't
club?
know.
Anyways. Sorry.
But yeah,
I'll get that Google going.
Ryan Strome was traded to the Rangers for Ryan Spooner.
Spooner.
The Oilers put on waivers. I think.
Right.
There was something
that makes more sense.
So they basically gave up Jordan Eberle for nothing.
That makes more sense.
And Ryan Spooner's probably somewhere putting up 100 points.
He's in the A though, right?
I think so,
yeah. Philadelphia Flyers have won 9 straight to catapult them up the playoff standings. Although they have lost James Van Riemsdyk like 4 to 6 weeks with a broken finger earlier on this week. So tough blow. However, Carter Hart and co. We talked about Carter Hart in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
He's been very good, backstopping this team to 9 straight. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Looks like they're going to be playing Pittsburgh.
Oh man.
Boy.
Oh boy. That could be.
Bunch of my
There's going to be a lot of good first round playoffs, which we'll get to in just a few seconds.
Yeah.
The Johnny Boychuk injury, that happened as soon as we
God.
finished recording there last week on Monday.
How do you get 90 stitches in the eyelid?
That must be a very tender spot, I'm
Yeah.
guessing. There's like no skin. Like there's very thin skin there. I don't know. Like that's terrible.
Yeah.
In the eyelid.
Because you remember the Taylor Hall injury where he got stepped on in warm-up?
Kind of vaguely remember that.
Yeah, in Edmonton.
Okay.
That was only 30 stitches, if I can remember. And
Wow.
That was like here, and it was like plastic surgery. And,
Yeah.
And God, I can't imagine what 90 stitches must feel like.
He jumped right into the tunnel there. He knew exactly what was going on, and he got help immediately. Very glad it was not worse than that.
Yeah, nothing. No
Scary
injury to the
that
eye.
these skates they come up, right? He was falling down and just had to brace himself, and it's scary. Very scary
Do
stuff.
you think we see cages in the future? Mandatory cages in the NHL?
Unless it's grandfathered in, I don't think so.
No.
No players association's gonna. I mean, I know it's safety precautions, but
Right.
it's also a player's vision, a player's comfortability on the ice, that they haven't worn a cage since 16, 17.
I could see, I know some junior B teams or junior B leagues have done it, have adopted the cages. I could see junior A doing it soon, maybe even the WHL. I just think, the little bit of visibility that would go far outweighs the possible injury time to your multi-million-dollar players, right?
Well, it's only going to take one really bad one.
I mean, Taylor Hall was out for a while.
I'm not even talking that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking worse.
Yeah.
It's going to take one of those.
It could have been that one.
It could have been that one.
could have been gone.
Yeah.
Another centimeter.
Yeah.
One way.
And we've seen unfortunately, a lot of neck ones as well, which is downright terrible. And, unfortunately, we don't learn things until it's too late.
Yeah.
And most often in society, and it's a scary thought. But all the best to Johnny Boychuk. I don't know an update if he's even coming back.
I haven't even seen a picture.
Not really. I just seen the tweet where he joked that his facial recognition on his phone didn't work, so he couldn't tweet right away. That was a good tweet there by Johnny Boychuk.
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby has 800 career assists. Congratulations to him.
Yay.
A long time coming. He could have got that total a long time ago if it wasn't for the stupid injuries that he dealt with a few years back. That's a little unfortunate, but I mean, fantastic career, fantastic numbers, going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, all that good stuff for Sid the adult. He's not a kid no more.
I mean, he's got so many awards, team-wise and player-wise. You just look at his elite.
It's crazy though, because we're not talking him at all this year in terms of stats, awards, stuff like that. It's all been Ovechkin. It's been his counterpart.
Yeah. Well, Sid had some injuries this.
Yeah, he was out with was
this
it
year.
pec or no? Yeah, he was out for months. And
Like
Malkin carried the team like he always does.
Only 40 games, but yeah, he's closing in on 1,000. Looks like he'll get that next year, 1,000 games.
That'd be great.
Holy.
Fantastic. Very special day, because we're recording this on a Sunday. International Women's Day is a worldwide initiative. And Sportsnet and NBC became the first broadcasting partners to adopt an all-female crew for broadcasting NHL games. Tonight on Sportsnet was the Flames Golden Knights game. Golden Knights won that one 5-3, which is a big playoff battle. But great to see some of the likes of Cassie Campbell and Leah Hextall and Natalie Spooner was on the broadcast, Carolyn Cameron, all these fantastic ladies who do a great job, and they deserve to be recognized on a day like today's for the great work that they do. And it's super cool that they can set a mark like this on this day. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that was cool to listen to them to the night. Tonight, yeah, that was an awesome idea, whoever came up with that. Good execution.
Way to go. All of our lovely ladies in our lives, you deserve today and every day. You're fantastic. Roberto Luongo becomes the first Panthers player to have his number retired last night. That's a nice little tribute.
Yeah.
Bobby Lou, 2 tours of duty there in Florida. And, when you think of him, you think of the Panthers.
Yeah.
You think, being in Canada, you think of the Canucks as well. But, he's been a Florida guy. And that's where he loves to be. And that's where he's going to end his career. So that's fantastic as well. So.
Yeah, I wonder if Vancouver's going to follow behind. I don't know.
Who's the next after the Twins? Do you go a Burrows? Do you go a Kevin Bieksa? Do you even go further back? Do you think of like Marcus Does Naslund have his?
I don't even know.
Brendan Morrison, obviously not the other part of that line. We're not going to acknowledge him, but
Bart.
Bart. But yeah, that's a good question. Who's the next Canuck from that time?
So Naslund is
okay. So
Stan Smeel, Trevor Linden, Naslund, the Sedins, and Bure.
Okay.
I mean,
so I think
Lou. Why not Lou?
I think Lou might be I think Burrows. I don't think Bieksa had that. I mean, he was a good player. Was a great player. Burrows had a Kessler. Does Kessler go? Maybe. There's a lot of bad blood the way he left, but that's an interesting one too.
Yeah.
So Canucks fans, just have your say. Who do you think should go?
I mean, maybe an Alexander Edler.
Oh, like a long-time player. Yeah,
I mean,
because he's still on the roster.
Right.
Hey, yeah. That's not a bad one. I got to eat some crow for this next one. Last week I talked about Juuse Saros not being good enough to take over the net in Nashville.
And what happened?
What did he do this week? He shut out the Dallas Stars twice in 3 games.
Jeez.
3 days, not even 3 games, 3 days.
Yeah.
So, Lance, I apologize. Juuse Saros is good, and he deserves to. He still deserves a start. I don't know what took the Predators so long.
Yeah.
They're back in the playoff picture, but I apologize. Juuse Saros.
Are you saying Carter Hart was having a rough season?
I thought he was, and then I didn't look into his stats even further, so that's also on me. But we're not talking about Hart right now.
No.
He's carried the Flyers to 9 straight, and Juuse Saros has shut out twice. So,
so
I don't know my goalies, so I don't even know why I'm hosting this.
Who else is doing bad this year? Who else is doing bad?
Ovechkin sucks. I don't know what to tell you.
He's tough.
That's a tough one. And then we'll touch on this in the NBA portion as well, but the coronavirus is starting to make some headway in dressing rooms across the National Hockey League, limiting media access. There's talking about not playing in front of fans, definitely on the NBA side of things. Yeah. It's coming, and unfortunately, like the States is I almost want to say a breeding ground for something like this, because in certain places, just going to put this out there, not the most sanitary.
Right.
People washing hands is new to them.
Yeah.
They don't know that. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like what are these players going to do? What, like, as fans, that's going to be so weird. I actually didn't even think about this. I didn't write it in the notes, but, like, March Madness coming up.
Oh.
Like, where's the madness going to be?
Yeah.
It's going to just be
Behind
March
the TV.
basketball.
Yeah. It's just
Throwing down a
March.
dunk, and you're going to hear the bench roar and jump up.
Yeah.
Way to go, buddy! And it's going to be... So I hope it doesn't get to that, because that's going to be terrible.
See, with the professional sports, I don't know what's your thought process on if they do have zero attendance. Like, why even have the game? I understand, like, oh, you gotta have the game because it's part of the schedule, but isn't the whole kind of idea behind professional sports is the entertainment value towards the fans?
It is.
And if
Well, you're
not-
losing money for sure
yeah,
now.
and if you're not, like, why can't you just put, I don't even know. I don't know a solution, so I don't really stand behind what I'm saying right now, but, like, doesn't it have to do with the entertainment value of having fans there, like, being able to enjoy the product that you're putting out there?
Yeah.
Like, LeBron, we'll get to that, but he said he wasn't gonna play.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. Like, why
I
would
believe
you
Bo
play?
Horvat
Like,
said that too. Like,
Yeah.
on the Canucks. So
like,
it's
you saw what happened in Baltimore for the Orioles a few years ago. That was
it's
that was a
eerie.
joke.
It's eerie.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Davis is throwing the ball up into the stands. Nobody's there. Wow. Back when Chris Davis got playing time.
I agree with that is worst case scenario. However, I mean, both the leagues are talking about getting teams to set up a protocol in the next few days here, even to implement who's going to handle investigations, who's going to handle the medical side of things if there is a virus that's been confirmed. Like I said, I talked about limiting the media access, nobody in the dressing room outside of team personnel. A lot of measures going in right now, and teams have to be prepared for that if it comes to there, because worldwide it's becoming a bigger and bigger issue, and people are stocking up on toilet paper for God knows what reason.
Yep.
And I just don't get it.
I don't know.
You're not going to have a bad bum from the coronavirus.
So, yeah.
You're going to have other issues, but
Yeah.
it's crazy.
There's no toilet paper anywhere.
No.
What's the other thing? No hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer's going crazy here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Apparently Canalta Center's got a lot, though.
Yeah?
Should I say that? I don't know if I should say that.
No, I don't.
But apparently we got a lot.
We're going to get you're going to get rated over there.
Yeah. We got a
Um,
lot. Come in.
We've got a few bottles upstairs, but nothing to, put in a shopping cart.
People's making their own and stuff like that. Mixing vodka.
Making your own.
Mixing vodka and, like, Dove soap or
You're
something like that. Like,
You're better off making your own moonshine
Yeah.
and just sucking that back.
not worrying about it.
Quickly, we'll get to the wild card races in both the East and the West. We'll start with the East. 3 teams are getting in out of the following: the Leafs, the Panthers, Islanders, Blue Jackets, Hurricanes, and Rangers. What say you, Corey? What 3 teams, as you look at the playoff structure? I got points listed down there.
Yeah.
But it's the Leafs and the Panthers are a very interesting race because one of them's going to get that 3rd seed in the Atlantic, I want to say. Yeah, it's not the Metro, so it'd be the Atlantic. And they're going to have to face either a Boston or a Tampa Bay.
Most likely Tampa. Yeah.
Most likely Tampa. So, excuse me, that's a tough one because Leafs are struggling. They went out to California and got 1 point on a 3-game road trip.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
It's 3 tough teams.
Yes.
I mean, well, not tough.
Yeah, like
not like good, like
physically demanding. Yeah, grunt.
They're
So,
terrible teams.
but yeah, like which 3 teams are you thinking getting in?
Yeah, I think the Leafs get in on that 3rd spot. I like the Hurricanes, and just because I like a little bit of fun, I like the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Do you? Hey.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if they
Elvis?
find a way in, yeah, they find a way in. Like, what a story! I mean, last year it was
Going
like the
all in.
opposite. It's like, you guys have the best team after this trade deadline. Why aren't you in?
Yeah.
And now this year, it's like, oh, you guys lost a bunch of guys. You're going to be in last place. And
You're
no.
devastated. Not even the guys they lost after that trade deadline,
Yeah.
but legit injuries too.
Yeah.
Like losing Seth Jones is not an easy lot. Like that's a hard one to come back from. and they're doing a great job keeping in this race. Talked about the Rangers too. Like, this is kind of, fool's gold. They don't need to get in because they are on this development path. We talked about it in past weeks, but they're right in the thick of things. Hurricanes, they traded for Chochek and Co. and Brady Shea, and they're making that push. But they've got no goaltenders. They're still out for another week or whatever. So they're running with. Are they still running with Anton Forsberg or whoever else is?
Alex Nedeljkovic.
You say that.
I heard Mrazek's coming back soon. He's progressing well from his concussion.
But Reimer's not close yet.
Yeah.
So.
Which, out of the two injuries, if you go back and look at them, Mrazek's looks way worse.
Yeah, he got bowled over, right?
And Reimer just kind of got shoved.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think in that East? Do you think, also, I will say this.
Okay.
Do you think any of those teams got a shot to beat Boston, whoever gets that second wild card spot? Or do you think the first wild card spot has a chance to beat Washington?
Any of those teams. Yeah. I mean, frick. Who knows anymore? Like, I don't know this playoff structure. I think of the two teams that can be beat, it's probably Washington.
Yep.
So
I think Carolina could do the same thing that they did last year.
Yeah, but I thought Tampa was just unstoppable, and look what happened there. Like I said, of the two teams, I think Washington has a better chance. I worry about the Leafs, man. Like, I think the Panthers could. I mean, I know they're in a slide right now, but the Panthers could catch them and make it a real fight there in the bottom of the wild card. And I don't think the Leafs want to, as much as they don't really want to face Tampa, I don't think they want to face either Boston for a third straight year, whatever that is, or a tough Washington team. That's a really tough one.
Yeah, I have a tough time seeing Toronto and Florida get in if it's not that third spot.
I think one of them gets that. Yeah, one of them and one of them's
out. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Panthers. I mean, I don't like what I see out of the Leafs. They got a lot of talent, but I think the Panthers are right there, and they can get their heads out of their ass. And then I like the Hurricanes, and I like the Islanders. I really do. Yeah. I like what they did with Peugeot, and he scored in his first couple games, and they got a lot of depth, and they play tough and they play defensive style like Barry Trotz wants them to, and I like those three.
Are losers of 6 straight though?
Are they?
Yeah.
That's not good.
They're
That's not going to get you in the playoff rush.
But I think they got 2 games in hand over Columbus, and they're tied in points. I think. Yeah.
Quickly in the West, the Flames, they lost tonight, like we mentioned. They are still at 79 points. The Canucks, the Predators, and the Jets all at 76 points. The Wild at 75, and the Coyotes are only 5 back at 74. 3 of those teams are getting in. That one's very tough, too.
Yeah. I'd like to see Calgary and Edmonton in that 2-3 in the Pacific.
But Edmonton
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so. I think Edmonton's going to win that division.
Yeah, they could.
Because then
they could be Vegas. Yeah.
I know Vegas won tonight, but Edmonton technically was ahead of them up to a certain point. I'd love to see a Calgary Edmonton first round, but
that would be cool.
That'd be it's going to be difficult. A race all the way down the stretch.
I think the Canucks make it in. I don't know where, but I'd like to see them.
Even without Markstrom?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll figure it out.
And then the Predators, we talked about them with Saros. I think they've come back from the dead a little bit. They were struggling a long time, and now they've reeled off some victories against a very tough Dallas team. They're right in the thick of things. Jets behind Kyle Connor. He's been scoring like a monster lately. And, Dylan DeMello comes in at the trade deadline, kind of shores up a little bit of the defense.
Yeah.
Patrick Laine's been pretty close to a 200-foot player, which is something that nobody thought of coming into the season. That's great to see. The Wild, don't really know what to say about the Wild. They're okay. They're meh. And the Coyotes have had a lot of injuries with their goaltending, and that's really hurt them too. So, my heart wants Flames, Canucks, and Jets, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for I think 2 of those Canadian teams get in. I don't know which 2. My hope is the Flames, obviously, but I think 2 of the 3. I want 3. I think in my head I'm thinking 2, and then maybe Predators.
Yeah, I think I go Flames, Canucks, and I think Nashville.
Yeah.
That's what I'll go with.
Okay. We have very similar thoughts then.
Coyotes are just...
Yeah, Lance already wrote them off.
Yeah.
If he was here, he'd say this is garbage. So I just threw them in there because they're pretty close, and those are the last few spots. So
yeah.
NBA-wise, we'll switch over to that. The Rams clinched a playoff spot. They beat the Warriors on Thursday night.
Yeah.
That was a great game. Steph Curry returned in that one, 27 minutes. had 23 points, 7 and 7. He did shoot 3 for 12 from the from the 3-point line.
That's
a little bit rusty, but he's going to have all the shots in the world he wants on a really bad Warriors team.
Yeah, so
he could easily shoot for 55, 60.
I guess for him it's building up a little bit of chemistry with Wiggins and Draymond again, just to end out on a little bit of a high note for next year.
Exactly, and the way that the draft lottery is structured this year is brand new. You don't have to be the very worst team to have the best chances at the number one spot. It's all weighted equally. Basically, the first three, they're the worst three, all have the same amount of percentage points.
Interesting.
I think they, instead of like a 20-some% chance of getting the first in the old system, the top three all, I believe, have 17 or 18%. It's all weighted the same.
Okay.
So you don't have to be the super
everybody
worst.
else still has a chance at the first.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's between those three.
Exactly. But it's just it's less of a guarantee now being the worst. There's really no benefit like it was in years past. So that is interesting.
I think for basketball, that's huge. Like,
it's a way to kind of eliminate tanking. Like you can't. There's really no point. You're gonna lose fans if you go like, I don't know, 7 and 76, whatever the math works out to. 7 and 77. Like you could get 20 wins and still have the same percentage points as the guy or team has 10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
And like the top picks aren't always like for sure things, are they, in basketball? I don't know.
There's only a few, especially in this year's draft, like we talked about. I believe it was last week. There's only a couple guys that even crossed my radar. There's definitely no Zion in this class.
Okay.
There's no LeBron. There's no Anthony Davis. At least according to what I've seen and read. There's a lot of good guys, but not a lot of superstar talent.
I guess we'll see in March Madness.
Absolutely. We're going to find a lot of these names.
Or as we call it now, March.
Just March. Bradley Beal wants to retire as a Wizard and get his jersey retired. That's great if you want to do that, but you're not going to have any playoff success if you're Bradley Beal. So he must be content with that after he signed his 2-year extension. So
I think, not to put it down at all, but I feel like the players and the league in general is more of a selfish league, kind of. So, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, go play well, get your money, but if you don't want a championship, I guess that's
get your points and
right?
Get the heck out of there, yeah. You'll be retiring as a Wizard and be known for that, but not have any rings for it.
Yeah.
So good for Beal, I guess. He can score 50 all he wants. Dion Waiters gets a third chance this season with the Lakers. He's signed for the rest of the season. He's the one on the Heat who ate the edibles on the plane and freaked out. He's the one who...
That happened?
Were you here for this?
I don't know.
That was this season, yeah.
Oh.
He ate edibles. Someone on the team gave him edibles to eat, and he ate them. And then he flipped out, and he got suspended for that. There was another suspension where he was out. He was listed as did not, DNP, but then he got a picture on Instagram of him on a beach. That got suspended.
On a beach.
Yeah.
Something strong.
Not quite Dirks, but and there was another, and then when the Memphis Grizzlies traded for him as part of their Miami Heat deal with Andre Iguodala there at the deadline, they immediately waived him. They didn't even want him. Okay. He's making $12 million this year and $12.5 next year, so his deal's already guaranteed.
Oh, okay. So when he gets waived, he could play.
Absolutely, he's a free agent again, but while still getting paid from the Heat.
In both years.
Yes.
So why would he go play?
Because he wants to win a ship.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
And play with LeBron again. Because he played with LeBron.
So not Bradley Beal.
But it's funny how the Lakers chose... There was a couple guys in contention, but they chose Dion Waiters, of all people, to be another guard on their roster. So it's very interesting. Hopefully he can contribute and not be an idiot this time.
Is he making more now? Because
no, he's going to... I believe...
Lakers get him for free?
The Lakers probably sign him to a veterans minimum.
Okay.
Whatever.
So he gets a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, he'll get a little bit. You can't play for free, but... Yeah, so... I don't know, maybe $500K, something like that, $750. Harden and Giannis have a little bit of a beef going on. Harden is just kind of saying things for saying things. He caught wind of what Giannis said about drafting him for the All-Star team when Giannis said that he didn't want to draft Harden because he didn't want a guy who wasn't going to pass to him.
Yeah.
And then Harden got a little bit butthurt about it and started going on about, oh, well, I could pass, I could be a playmaker. You don't want to put guy. And then another comment about playing defense against Harden and how everybody should just go and attack Harden because he sucks at defense. And Harden clapped back and said, that shit not going to work with me. I'm gonna stuff your ass, basically. Ooh. And he's getting a little bit feisty, but
I don't believe
all kind of sparked from a Giannis comment, so I just threw that in there. But yeah, a little bit of rivalry, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see
Yeah.
if they ever meet in a
They don't even play in the same
in
conference.
an NBA Finals. We'll see. That could be a little point.
I think Giannis is better than him now, isn't he?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this
That's
dude's
it.
winning MVP for sure this year.
And he should,
The only question is whether it will be unanimous. That's kind of what everyone's saying. Whether.
Hello.
Oh, you got a little notification. Is your battery dead?
No, I just got an update.
Oh.
Critical update.
Oh, like to update your laptop?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not good. That's a little older laptop, if I'm not mistaken. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, well. Oh, well.
You might crash it.
Yeah.
Don't really know too much about this Spike Lee Knicks confrontation that happened earlier this week. I guess he was told that he couldn't enter the player/media entrance of Madison Square Garden that he's done for the last 20 whatever years.
Oh.
And then he had to get moved to, I guess, the VIP section. There was another VIP door. And he didn't like that, and he blew up on, I guess it was on First Take down in the States on ESPN, and described his side of things. And then the Knicks released their laughable statement that basically said that Spike Lee doesn't have any right to play a villain in this role, or to play the good guy, that his position is quote-unquote laughable, which you never see in a press release. The Knicks were just like, they were kicking him when he was whatever. It's so bad. Like, the Knicks are so bad. They're just disrespecting people left, right, and center, so it's funny. It's just dumb.
So that the Nets said that they'll take him on as a
Maybe.
fan?
They should.
I saw that, yeah. So maybe
yeah, a
the
little
Nets
across the bridge there to Brooklyn, but yeah, it's an interesting scenario. So yeah, Spike Lee has said he's not attending any more Knicks games. I don't know why you're going in the first place. He's wasted, I think I saw a stat, $20 million in tickets over the course of the 20-plus years he's been there. Dude's that's a lot of money.
Courtside season tickets for years and years.
For a terrible Knicks franchise.
When's the last time they've actually been all right? Like,
oh, God.
Any second-round playoff performances lately?
No, I don't think they ever got past the first with Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire. They loaded up on those two dudes. I don't think they got past the second round. They always got beat by LeBron.
Yeah.
So that's tough. Very cool. Or not very cool. That's really bad. I don't know why is that very cool. What is very cool is Luka Doncic breaking the Mavs all-time triple-double record in only his second season. I joked about this with Steve Ball, my coworker upstairs, because he's a big Mavs fan. And he was thinking back, he's like, I don't think the Mavs have ever really had a guy who racked up triple-doubles. Like, you think of Dirk Nowitzki, not a triple-double threat.
Shouldn't he, though?
No, he got points and rebounds.
Oh, okay, not a passer.
No, not really a passer. Not like, I mean, Porzingis can be now, but he's still growing into that.
Right.
Steve Nash, back in the day, he was a young Steve Nash. He wasn't the Phoenix Suns Steve Nash when he played. Guys like Michael Finley and...
you lost me now.
That's okay.
I knew the first two.
That's okay. But anyways, the Mavs have never had some guy who can rack up triple doubles like that. Jason Kidd was too old when he joined the team. But yeah, it's crazy. So he's now the all-time franchise leader in triple doubles, and he's a 21-year-old kid. Yeah. So he's got way more years to add to that total, which is pretty cool. I'm glad Lance isn't here for this question. Can Zion Williamson catch Ja Morant for the Rookie of the Year title? He's only going to play about 55 games.
Because you suck, Lance. That's my take.
And no response from Lance.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll leave that spot blank. He's been fantastic. He really has, and he's keeping the Pelicans in the playoff race.
Has Ja Morant been fantastic?
He started out a house of fire, and he's come down to earth a little bit. The Grizzlies are right in there alongside the Pelicans. I think, honestly, whoever gets that 8th playoff spot might be the winner. Whoever gets that spot might be the overall, the deciding, deal breaker.
Yeah.
Could be. So, I guess I should have thrown that out to somebody else. Because you're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Yes, I think.
Who do you know more of, Zion or Ja?
Zion.
Okay, so you as a casual fan know of Zion more because he's been hyped more, right?
I heard about Ja. Maybe that was just because of the podcast, but only earlier in the season.
Yeah.
But I totally forgot about the guy.
Oh, it's okay.
Recently.
That's good. That's why it's great to have your perspective on things.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say.
That's
I think it's weird because NBA stats go off of points per game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're the only sport that does that, really. Like, hockey does not really go off points per game.
No,
they
there's no
talk about
total
your season totals.
Total points. or whatever.
Baseball is your total home runs and RBIs, and I mean, it's a weird way to look at things for somebody that grew up in baseball and hockey.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And then finally, last note, I can't even get that word out right. Kenny Atkinson let go as the Brooklyn Nets head coach over the weekend. Apparently didn't want to coach Kyrie and Kevin Durant next year, so GM and coach kind of had a little airing of grievances and decided that it was now time to just move on.
Oh, mutual.
So, yeah, it was a thing where, he didn't want to coach these two superstars. He wasn't going to be able to get his fingerprints on the team, he thought. And he's more of a developmental guy in previous stops. So he's going to join a franchise that could use his talents, I guess, to better use than the Brooklyn Nets will next year, because they're going to be right in the thick of a playoff race with those two superstars, hopefully healthy and back to 100%. So
yeah, next year.
Yeah. This year they're hopefully gonna make the playoffs. They've done enough to make the playoffs, but they're gonna get swept or a gentleman's sweep in 5 games. That's what's gonna happen for those Brooklyn Nets. So
yeah. Do you think he gets picked up somewhere else? Like, obviously, if you're coaching WHL,
not quite
an NBA franchise, you got to be doing something, right?
Yeah, no, he will. He's a very well respected guy, and I think that any young up and coming franchise, I mean, you could have took on a Memphis Grizzlies job like he did last year, a guy or a team that had John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., a team with a lot of young guys that Kenny Atkinson can put his stamp of approval on, is what they're looking for. Okay. So I think any franchise in the offseason is definitely going to be giving this guy a shout if they need something like that. A little bit of an experience maker, build these guys up, and get them to the spot where they can become stars. Okay. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
Quickly, NFL-wise, ESPN is trying to get Al Michaels from NBC and pair him with Peyton Manning on Monday Night Football, because their Monday Night Football team has been the laughingstock for the last, 3 years since Mike Tirico left and went to NBC.
Whoever that is.
Mike Tirico is fantastic. He's an awesome broadcaster.
Yeah.
But Al Michaels, trying to get him off of the Chris Collinsworth bandwagon is going to be very difficult. I believe he still has a couple of years on his NBC deal. But Peyton Manning, trying to pay him more than Tony Romo is making.
Really?
They want to throw upwards of $18 to $20 million at Peyton Manning to come to the broadcast booth. Yeah.
Oh.
Because we talked about it 2 weeks ago, maybe, how Tony Romo was making 16 to 17 now in his new deal with CBS.
That's a lot of money.
You think that Peyton can transition to the broadcasting booth?
Has he had any experience doing it?
Nope, neither did Tony Romo, though. They just think a quarterback, a lot of knowledge, can just put his notes onto the game.
Tony had done it a year, though, or a year or two before he got that big contract, though, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm talking, Tony Romo went right from retirement, quote unquote, to being the lead guy on CBS.
Right.
And Peyton Manning would be doing the exact same thing, going from retirement.
But does Peyton have any experience at all?
Broadcasting, no.
No, okay.
And neither did Tony, though.
Right, but
Peyton's biggest thing is going on SNL a couple times. It's basically his only media.
I think he'll do a good job, but to pay him that much when he has no experience, at least you know what you're getting with Tony. He's done a year or two.
Yeah.
So he's earned that much money. But
that's a good point. No, I know what you're saying.
If that doesn't work out, I think it could work, though. He's a very outgoing guy. I think he's hilarious. I think that southern charm will be good on a Monday night.
I think ESPN, if I'm an executive, Al Michaels is a great guy to pair with a young, broadcasting Peyton Manning, a guy who's really green at it.
Yeah.
Because Al's an absolute legend, and he can probably bring out the best in Peyton. So, who knows? That'd be a big get to pull arguably one of the best NFL guys off of the NBC broadcast. ESPN's talking about trying to bid for a Super Bowl broadcast and, trying to get these big games, because they air the wild card games on ESPN and then they stop. You never see them do a conference championship. It's always CBS, NBC, or Fox. Those are the big three there for NFL. So
yeah, I guess you gotta. They're swinging for the fences on this one.
They really are. How do you feel though if you're the Joe Tessitore, who's the current play-by-play guy, and then the Booger McFarland, who's the guy who gets memed all the time? How do you feel if you're one of those guys and these reports come out that your job could be gone?
Oh, they're the guy that...
They're the current crew. Play-by-play and Booger.
Be better. Could they get a different night then? Do the ESPN do Sundays or?
No, they don't do Sundays.
Okay,
they do Monday nights, and then like the first game of the year, the first Monday night, they do that double header. So there's always a crew that goes to it's the late window. There's an early window and a late window.
Okay.
And they always throw like the B team on the ESPN late windows because it's usually like an Oakland Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers game that no one really gives a shit about. Maybe they could do the backup game for one game a year, but that sucks. Quick note, Chargers, speaking of the Los Angeles Chargers, they have re-signed running back Austin Eckler to a 4-year, $24.5 million deal. He is going to be the lead back because they are letting Melvin Gordon go to free agency. So, you play fantasy football, no?
No.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so Austin Eckler, so Melvin Gordon was on a holdout last year, and he didn't play the first, 6 weeks of the season. Austin Eckler was arguably a top 5 running back when he had the lead role. He was fantastic. He could catch the ball, catch and run the ball. That'd be pretty impressive. But fantastic stats. And then when it became more of a split role, he obviously lost a lot more of his value. But being a leading back, now you don't know what happens to Phillip Rivers. That's going to be interesting to see if he's gone for sure. But who becomes the quarterback of the Chargers, that's going to impact his value going forward. Quickly, I know you might know this. The highest average paid running backs this year. I got a list. Top 10 running backs. Can you guess any of the top 10 highest paid running backs?
No.
Gosh.
McCoy. LeSean McCoy? Is that
a couple years ago, no. Okay. I'll read it out for you. Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley,
I know him.
Le'Veon Bell.
I know him.
David Johnson.
Cardinals? No.
Yeah, David Johnson?
Is he on Cardinals?
Arizona Cardinals,
Okay, I know.
Devontae Freeman.
Falcons?
Yeah, Falcons.
Ooh.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Giants.
Good. Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, I got no clue.
He's been injured. He's the 7th highest. He's played for the
Titans.
49ers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't play.
Was he in the final?
No, he signed this deal 2 years ago. Has not played in 2 years. He's got bad knees.
Get his money.
Leonard Fournette.
Oh, I know him. I couldn't remember what team he plays for.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, yeah.
Austin Eckler.
Is this going up or is
this
this
down?
Oh, okay.
So top one, Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
Which he's on the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
And last one, number 10 is Duke Johnson.
Duke. Friggin' Duke.
Duke is on Houston Texans.
Exactly.
Anyways, I just found that. So now Eckler becomes the 9th highest paid running back.
Okay.
So
Duke falls out.
No, Duke is still there. Duke is still there.
Okay, this is an updated list.
Yeah, this is immediate response. Anyways, let's move on quickly. What do you got?
Have you seen the new LA Rams logos?
No, I have not. He's flipping the screen around.
Not the LA Chargers logo, the LA Rams logo, and people are roasting it because it looks exactly like a Chargers logo would look like. The little yellow behind it.
That is
not good. It is a leaked one, and it's not confirmed.
Oh, that is terrible.
Here, let me show you.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's ugly. There's no R in there at all. Where's the R?
I don't know. It's just supposed to be like a ram.
Man, I wish we had a camera right here that you can actually show, because you can't show that big one.
No. Maybe we have it on the final graphic.
Yeah. Maybe we'll throw it on there.
Yeah.
But God, that's weird. There's no R in there at all. I see an L and an A, and then it looks like the C kind of overlaps all the letters.
Yeah, no, it's not really creative. And it just kind of looks weird, and also it looks like exactly like the Chargers logo.
That's crazy.
Trying to find you keep going
we'll
here.
Continue on.
I'll try and find.
MLB wise, a couple weeks away from spring training wrapping up, which is nice to see. Christian Yelich gets his contract extension up until 2029 with that a mutual option for both teams. $215 million over the next 9 seasons. For the two-time batting champion. He won the NL MVP last year, or was in consideration. Sorry, that was Cody Bellinger. He's a fantastic player, and the Milwaukee Brewers locked themselves up a good one. Are they going to regret this deal in 5 years when Yelich becomes a, 33-year-old, 34-year-old? It's big money to give to Yelich. He's like 26?
Is he?
27?
Yeah.
So
I don't think so. I think he's playing. Or he's playing in right field right now. He's an outfielder, right? So the older he gets, you put him in left. I think the bat will stay consistent over the years. So
yeah, okay.
You learn to live with it. I think, it's fine. I mean, for something without a league without a salary cap, basically,
you pay these dudes.
Yeah.
He's not a Bryce Harper ticket, that's for sure, which is nice.
Miami definitely should have kept him.
Well, him and Stanton. Can you remember his team?
Marcell Ozuna.
God.
That outfield was like the best outfield, like potential, I should say.
Yeah.
The best potential outfield.
They're kind of like the Oklahoma City Thunder of the MLB, because the Thunder had like Durant and Westbrook and Harden and all that. And this is a case of what could have been.
Yeah.
Maybe get some pitching in there, but that's very interesting. The Blue Jays, a rumor came out that they offered Mike Moustakas a 3-year, $30 million deal over the offseason, which he eventually turned down for a 4-year deal, $64 million deal with the Cincinnati Reds. Interesting to see that the Blue Jays spending potentially some dough on an infielder. They ended up going with Travis Shaw to take the spot that Moose would have taken.
Yeah.
But it's only a 1-year deal there with Shaw because he really had a bad year. But, I mean, that would have been a very nice addition for the Blue Jays to shore up that infield. He could play both second and third. And
he could probably play first base, too.
Oh, yeah, but I think first is going to be pretty jammed up this year for your Blue Jays fan. It's very interesting to see them throw some money out. I mean, they threw money at Hyun-Jin Ryu, and they obviously caught him, which is nice.
Yeah.
But, they signed the deal with the Reds instead. That's very interesting. Another deal, Juan Moncada signed a 5-year, $80 million extension with the White Sox. He had a very quiet, good year with the White Sox last year, and now they pair him with, I think his name is Luis Roberts, is going to be another highly touted prospect. And there was another guy that played a little bit of time with the White Sox last year. I don't know what his name is, but
Eloy Jimenez?
Eloy.
Yeah.
That's another.
Yeah, and Jim Beckham's still young at shortstop. I think that's who's there.
And then Goyloto, the pitcher, is White Sox property as well. He was fantastic last year. The White Sox in that AL Central going to be pushing for a title. We'll get to maybe some previews when the season gets a little bit closer. When Lance is back, but we'll get to some division previews. That's going to be very interesting to see what the White Sox do with that new lineup. Chris Sale, we talked about him last week, potentially missing opening day. Tim Anderson.
Sorry, Tim Anderson. I wanted to.
Who were you thinking of?
I said Tim Beckham.
Tim Beckham was there at one point. That was a good poll. I didn't even catch you on that one. Chris Sale could be out until late May.
The guy that was traded for Juan Moncada.
That was the Red Sox deal?
Yeah,
That's right.
The one-for-one trade.
Oh, my goodness.
He was a Red Sox coming up.
Good point.
But, yeah.
That's devastating. And another potentially a Tommy John issue, which would be, that's terrible.
Going to be longer, right? Maybe?
It would be.
Well, that's tough. I mean, Red Sox are going to have a tough enough time trying to keep up with the Yankees, and the Blue Jays, and even the Rays.
Rays for sure. I don't know how much about the Blue Jays, but
not much of the Blue Jays. I'm just being optimistic.
I know you are. But your Blue Jays cap with pride.
They're that's tough for the Red Sox.
Aaron Judge. This one hurts me personally as a fantasy baseball owner, but he is out for opening day for sure. Out 2 weeks. They're going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks for a rib fracture of the first rib that he probably sustained back in September after diving for a loose ball.
How do you... Yeah.
I shake my head. I'm sorry. How the hell do you not diagnose this in... It's been 6 months, bro.
Yeah.
6 months. He's done every test under the book. And you're telling me you can't diagnose a stress fracture? I mean, I get it. Stress fractures are very small. But he's been telling you these symptoms for a while now. He can't breathe. He has trouble moving his shoulder and his arm. Come on. Where's your doctorate? Where's your team doctor? This guy's going to be out. You had all off-season recovery. He might lose an entire year now because he doesn't get any reps in spring training. He's going to be super rusty.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. I don't get it.
Trade him. Trade him before anybody knows.
I'm going to drop his ass. Is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I know it's a very small issue for the Yankees because he's going to be. I mean, that lineup is ridiculous. The pitching is going to be okay. They're going to get some guys back. But that's tough because Judge and Stanton potentially out for opening day. Stanton doesn't sound like as much of a serious issue as this Judge one now is, but man, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you not know?
Sometimes yeah, exactly. Something like it's tough to put your mind into a doctor's mindset, but it just seems easy. Like you just look at the X-ray and you find stuff, but I guess it's not that simple sometimes.
I wonder if their zoom just didn't work in on the X-ray finder. Like,
yeah,
you couldn't go to 400% and see that little stress fracture.
Well, even with like McDavid, I mean, he
with
went
his
multiple doctors, and they all told him different things. Like
that's true.
That's just so frustrating.
Yeah,
and that's maybe not a negative thing to say about the doctors. That's just how life is, I guess. Sometimes
it sounds like it,
but it's tough.
Crazy. Last one, something I really enjoyed seeing in the highlights this week was the players mic'd up for these live games.
That's fun.
The Cubs had a really good one with Anthony Rizzo. He called his shot on a center field single. He's like, I'm going to guess fastball because this guy hasn't thrown me a fastball all game. And it was a fastball. He nailed it right up the middle. And then the Mets had a really good highlight where the guy lost connection with his earpiece and couldn't hear the guy in the dugout talking to the broadcast.
Oh, okay.
So the guy in the outfield with the broken earpiece kept chiming in. He's like, I can't hear you guys. And the dude in the clubhouse was on a completely different conversation.
Oh.
Talking to the broadcast crew about whatever it was. And it was hilarious because this guy in the outfield wouldn't stop talking about whatever. Like, I can't hear you. Hope you're not making fun of me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's hilarious.
Yay or nay, though, these players, like, if there was maybe a small subscription fee to view a game with some player commentary like that, would you be for that or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
Or just wait for the highlights to come out on social media.
Yeah, no, during the spring training, I think it's awesome to do that stuff. There's players that already have secured spots. But I don't know if they could do it during the regular season.
No?
I don't know. It might take them off their game. I guess baseball, out of the 4 major sports, is the only sport you could really do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of downtime through the 3 hours. But, yeah, I don't know.
You think the quality changes? You get more distracted? You think mistakes become more prevalent?
I mean, if a player makes an error, everybody's going to be like, oh, well,
that's why?
Yeah. You know what I mean? The backlash to it might be too much to handle. I think during the spring training, it's awesome to test it, see what these players are
I love it. I think it's a great idea. I understand your point, though. Like, I didn't really think about it becoming a distraction when mistakes become prevalent. And then, first thing you go into, well, this guy, the only difference is that this guy's got an earpiece in, and he's talking, and he's distracted from reading this guy's pitches and whatever, or as a defender, making the wrong step as soon as the ball comes into play. It's very interesting. I didn't think about that, but I'd love to see more of it. At least give it a shot because it adds a little bit more flavor to the game of baseball. Like you said, it's slow for the most part, and you can fill some time and get some conversations in there, which would be pretty cool. And it's interesting though.
Yeah,
very cool.
I think trying to put you into a situation like you're in center field, or maybe you're in right field. And you're in a away ballpark, and people are cheering and screaming and stuff like that, and you're only center fielder's trying to communicate with you, but you have an earpiece in, maybe you don't hear them, right? Like, and just I don't know.
It'd be cool to have a moment like that where it becomes a highlight. Like, say a guy in the outfield relays one to home and like gets the runner at home, and you have the guy on the mic, and he's like, as the ball hits the grass, he's like, I got this, I'm going for it. And then it catches all of that. That would be a great highlight, even more so than any of these spring training stuff has done.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah, maybe, what if there's like, you could put little microphones all around the field, like in the ground. Maybe cover
like
them so
like NASCAR does it. They put stuff like in the cement.
Yeah.
And the cars drive over it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool
to do that.
Absolutely.
You just put a lot in the outfield and
have the ball, hear the ball. What if it bounces? That's a bad part. If it bounces off a microphone and goes a completely different direction. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know.
Audio engineers' nightmares having the ball land on a microphone, just completely blow up the system. But very cool stuff. that's all I've got tonight. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to add?
Any guesses as to who's leading the jersey bidding and what number?
For the Tigers.
Yes.
Going back to our WHL suits up for Oregon donation jerseys.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Your guess was Sillinger. I think
I'm wrong.
you're wrong.
Cylinder's second.
He's second? Okay, I'm gonna go Cowboy.
No.
Okay, 3 guess rule. Chizowski.
No.
Last guess. Baxter Anderson.
Really?
I don't know.
No.
I like that.
Sogard.
Okay, here's my original guess way back when. Okay, and the bid on Sogard,
You got any guesses?
I'm going $750.
No, that is on Cylinder, who's in second.
Wow, it's already that high. That's
Uh-huh.
fantastic. I'm gonna go $950.
No. Last guess? It's a weird number.
Is it? It's a 25 or a 75 or is it a
50. It's
a 50?
1,050.
1,050 for Sogard?
Yeah.
Way to go.
Almost 24 hours after.
That's fantastic though.
Crazy.
Good for that bid. Hopefully it goes up even more and
Yeah.
all going towards a great cause there with Oregon donation.
Cylinder
Do you have the
got-
link by chance?
Yeah.
Say it out loud.
It's a weirder link
Oh,
than,
okay.
than I thought.
You want me
it
just
was,
to
but
say
I
we'll
know
post it?
It's www.32auctions.com/MHT-HNIC for Hockey Night in Canada. HNIC.
Don't think people are going to remember that.
Yeah.
We'll post it in the episode description
Definitely.
on our social media for you to head over there. Wednesday, 7:30 is the deadline.
Yes.
7 o'clock,
Yep.
something like that.
That'll be it. Yep.
So get your bids in and donate on some fantastic looking jerseys.
Yep. There's a lot that's still under 300. Everything's kind of around that 300 range. So
Little piece of history there for the
Nothing is
Mezzanine
really-
Tigers. Thanks so much for coming in, Corey. Appreciate it.
through the
And we'll hopefully have Lance back next week, gearing up for a fantastic run in the playoffs for the Tigers and all sports in between. For Corey Bukoskis.
Well, should we? Sorry, should we?
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, should we tease up what we maybe got going with some interviews?
Potentially, yeah.
Maybe just.
We'd love to get, if it is, and we're knocking on wood, a first round matchup with the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Going to plan to have a little preview podcast dedicated to entirely the Tigers. Get the play-by-play voice of the Lethbridge Hurricanes on the phone, Dustin Forbes, as well as talk to the one and only Bob Ridley for the Tiger side of things.
So yeah.
To preview and tee up this series that could be coming in the next couple weeks. So that would be a very exciting podcast for Tigers fans to listen to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just
Anything
give
else?
A little tease. Now you can send
Hopefully
it home.
you enjoyed the Bob Ridley game, and we'll talk to you guys next week. For Corey Bukoskis, Colby McKee signing off. We'll talk to you then.